Karen Katz, what are the results of the luxury goods consumption in comparison to your expectations at the beginning of the year?
We really didn't see the full impact of the recession that we're experiencing in the United States until the spring season. And then we really saw, a major impact across most categories. As I said, there are some categories that are holding up better than others, and there are some pockets of customers that they're still in our stores shopping. The very, very affluent, we haven't seen really any decline in their shopping. And even the very affluent are still shopping. They're still coming to our stores. It's really this, what we would call our aspirational customer, that has pulled back in terms of their spending versus last year.
And what are the results for the luxury goods consumption in the first semester of 2008 in your country in comparison to the same period in 2007?
Well, we don't really give specific figures on our business in a public venue, but I will say that business has been a little bumpy the last number of months, and we started to see a slowdown in our overall business at Neiman Marcus around the holiday season. There are some categories that are holding up better than others, but overall business has been very bumpy the last 5 or 6 months.
Which are the product categories that have shown significant signs, particularly above or below the average?
Yeah, probably the categories that have held up the best across, all merchandising categories are those that what we call high luxury, things that are very exclusive to Neiman Marcus, very expensive in terms of the value that they're giving the customer, whether it's very expensive watches, beautiful, very, very high-end jewelry, even at the top end of the clothing business, whether it's the Brioni and Kiton businesses, the Stefano Ricci business, those kinds of businesses have actually held up. The ready-to-wear business generally has been very challenging, as has the women's shoe business. Those are probably the businesses that have been hit harder than others. The beauty business, which is typically a business that, withstands recessionary times, has held up quite nicely. And the fragrance business has also been a business that's been very strong over the last 6 months. Overall, the ready-to-wear business is having a difficult time, but the very expensive, very exclusive pieces are doing extraordinarily well. We had a Dolce & Gabbana dress that was a runway dress, beautiful hand-painted dress. You literally can't dry clean it. You can't, there's no way to really clean it. Each is very much a piece of art. They retailed at U.S. dollars between $5,000 and $6,000, and we sold 48 of these hand-painted dresses. And so that was an indication that the customer was willing to spend money if she could get something very unique. And in fact, a lot of the runway fashions, which typically don't have as good of sell-through at regular price because they deliver later in the season, really overall had very good regular price sell-throughs this year. Again, we believe the customer was willing to spend money if it was something very unique, very special, and very exclusive.
What are the forecasts that you expect for the rest of the year?
Well, as I think our chief financial officer at Neiman Marcus said, if he could predict the future, he'd be playing golf someplace on a beautiful golf course, because it is hard to know when we're going to come out of this. We absolutely believe that our business will bounce back. It's just hard to know exactly when. So we are planning very conservatively for the fall season. We're holding our inventories very tight. We're placing orders, obviously, with all of our Italian vendors and with all of our European vendors. But because of the value of the dollar, the units we've placed are definitely less than last year, because the prices have escalated for the fall season anywhere between 8 and 18%, because the dollar has fallen so much since a year ago when we were buying these same goods. So we're being very conservative, and we're trying to find new ways to incent our customers to come in. We believe that we want the customers to pay regular price, so that's really something that we're very focused on as we go into the fall.
And what are your expectations for the year 2009?
Our hope is that we're going to get into fall and that things are going to open up a little bit, and then we're going to have lots and lots of reasons to be very aggressive next spring of 2009. And, so we always, as retailers, we're always optimistic about the future. We think the fall, as I said, is going to be a little more challenging. We're planning more conservatively. And we hope that by spring things will have opened up after the election. Typically after a U.S. election, things do open up a little bit. And so, like I said, we're hopeful that things will start to open up next spring. But it is very hard to predict in the environment that we're living in right now.
Would you like to give any suggestions or recommendations to Alta Gama entrepreneurs?
I think generally one of the things that we're spending a lot of time talking to our vendor partners about is really the pricing of goods. And everybody's having to take a little bit out of their margins to make sure that we price the merchandise fairly in the United States, given the situation with the dollar. And so I guess my hope is that everybody will look at the product that they're out selling over the next number of weeks and months for the spring season and really evaluate the price-value relationship that goes with that product. Because we are finding, as much as we say at Neiman Marcus that our customers will pretty much pay, any price for things, we are seeing that there is some price ceiling in certain categories. And so we ask that everybody just take that into consideration when they're pricing collections or categories over the next weeks and months.